Hello, I'm Jelelle Awen. This is day 15 of 33. Raphael,
Hello.
my beloved, is joining us again today. And we're actually realizing that we're practically halfway through the series, which is pretty amazing. And each day it's just kind of flowing out and into the next day. And hopefully you're taking in whichever ones call to you. And maybe you're even doing them daily, which would be pretty amazing.
Like I have?
Like you have. So what we felt to talk about today is almost, it feels like an extension of what we covered in day 5, which was about the inner feminine and masculine sacred union. So the sacred union within that leads to the sacred union with other. And today, I think it's in the same theme in a way, but specifically focusing on balance, of balancing the feminine and the masculine energies, because I think that's just such a theme in our culture and such a need as we move into the higher frequencies. What do you feel about that?
Well, it's been so pinpointed for me, this theme of the balance of the feminine and masculine inside, and particularly feeling the parts of myself that are oriented to the masculine, were initiated in whatever level of masculine they were, and also this yearning for the feminine. So as I've been listening to your series, this theme has been an overarching theme. I think it can be different themes for different people in their process, but what our relationship recently went through, its own death and rebirth, birthed us into this magical place, and also through a difficult death and completion. There's this awareness now that what's wanting or longing on the inside is a higher degree of inhabitation in here, and that then manifests here and with the world and with life, of this balance, integration of the feminine with the masculine. It changes the masculine. It's not just an integration, it's a alchemy. So.
Yeah, they're meant to change and inform each other. And then that's how they come into balance. I wanted to have you talk specifically about your process, if you would, because then it's not just this concept of balance, but actually something that maybe people can, especially men, but the masculine within women as well, can resonate with.
Yes. Yeah, because the idea of balance itself can just come as a prescription, as another level of to-do. And for me personally, an awareness of something that's better, or that's a good thing to do, has in the past become a should. And that would live in me from a masculine dominated place. I can do that. I can make that awareness. I can hold that awareness. I can be better. I can improve. Coming from a desire to grow, yes. Coming from a place, but now I can feel where that place was missing, the surrender to a feminine longing, an ache, feeling, a willingness to feel there's something missing that I don't have, and I would like to feel that. That would be a more feminine relationship with a feeling of something missing, feeling it rather than creating a should out of it. So this has just been a really big theme for me recently. Part of life here has been revisiting earning money from doing some painting contracting work, which has been a career of my past. And I had such a dominant masculine relationship with that work. It was a little scary to go back to it, because it was in more 3D frequencies that I related to that. And that pushed up a fear inside of me for my masculine part that I'm working with right now. There's, how do we not just become mired in an old 3D experience with a applying paint in people's homes. And what I was really being invited to feel was a whole new level of relationship with my own inner feminine, which is another dynamic, beautiful being aspect of myself that I've had ongoing relationship with for some time.
Mm-hmm.
And she holds this energy of play and dance and circling that changes the alchemy, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than balancing the feminine and the masculine. It's something new that wasn't there before gets created. And the end result happens, but in a different way. I'm really feeling a healthy kind of, I don't know what it is. I want to discover what it is. I want to feel my way there.
One thing we talked about this morning when we were checking in was around heart presence, and how the feminine seems to bring this heart presence to everything. So it's not about not doing anything, and that's more feminine. It's that there's this heart presence around it, and there's this joy and creativity. And there's a desire in the feminine to collaborate. So I think that's another distinction about it, is that in the feminine, it's a community feeling. It's an empowered, everybody's empowered. Everyone can contribute and be creative and part of everything, rather than the masculine conditioning can be, you do it yourself and you work really hard. And you don't let other people do it.
Yes.
Or you can do it the best. Is perhaps and the other thing we were talking about too is that in women there can be a very strong masculine. So this is not about gender. This is about energies that are inside of you. So there can be a very strong masculine that presents itself as a matriarch. And in that matriarch is exactly what we're talking about. I can do it myself. Control, focus on linear production and power from that. So that is how, as a woman, you can apply what we're offering here to your masculine.
That's really interesting, because women by nature have, as a gender, have been more willing to feel. It's maternal to feel.
Heart presence.
And bring heart presence.
Yeah.
And we know that as a culture, but we're talking about a much greater degree of heart presence than just what's out there in the collectively seen as heart presence. And as I feel that, I feel because of the absence of a feminine initiation and really an absence of a masculine initiation, there would be this polarity to gravitating towards achievement and the linearity of getting things done and measurables, bank account numbers, growth numbers, and there was really a missing feeling in all of that. And when I feel what's underneath that, it was unconscious to me at the time. It's becoming conscious now, and I can revisit those timelines and bring compassion and love to the me who did the best he could at that time. But to invite the feeling that didn't actually occur there during that timeline, the feeling occurs now and flows into that timeline. And that's really healing that timeline. But the awareness that's come to me was that underneath the doing was, underneath the gravitational pull to the masculine that I knew at the expense of the feminine that I didn't know, was a heart wound of longing for feminine and not having been watered by the feminine. And then, as we were talking today about, there would be an active thing to provide for the feminine.
Provide and protect.
Provide and protect was an active energy in my masculine.
Right.
Which actually can be very belittling to the feminine.
Disempowers the feminine.
And disempowers the feminine, keeps the feminine small. So as I could see that mirrored, or that propensity inside myself mirrored in my relationship, if it was trying to come out with Jelelle or in my first marriage, to feel, being invited to feel, where is that a reality inside of me? Where is a masculine dominated part of me trying to keep the feminine in its place? That's a big discovery, to open up to feeling that, and then a discovery beyond that as to why would this part be afraid of the feminine. That's another discovery. Then to finally get into the place of where those fears aren't what's leading the show anymore, and a masculine and feminine dance are what's happening, even in these discoveries, but then in living life on new terms. Like, that's just a big inviting arena of play that I feel invited into.
And there's one piece that's kind of pinging in my head I don't want to forget, which is something I've seen quite a bit in sessions with women, is a disempowered masculine that's happening inside of them, where they are sort of in this stasis state, where they aren't able to earn money for themselves, to have a vocation, even a calling. They're just kind of in this stasis where either a outside masculine, a mate, is providing for them, or a parent is providing for them, but their masculine is literally like disempowered.
Or the state is providing.
Or the state, living on disability, or that kind of thing. And in that case, we connect with the masculine to try to bring in more masculine. Not the wounded masculine, but the masculine that can do things and get things done and activate and make right choices and set boundaries. And so sometimes what can happen, I think, in awakening, as we feel this woundedness, as we really go into the woundedness of the masculine and what it has done to us, essentially, and how it lives inside of us, there can be a tendency to disempower our inner masculine. And he doesn't know then, this part of us, usually represented in our protector, doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to help us. It's like, okay, you don't want that career anymore that I tried to give you in 3D living, and now you want these soul gift expressions, but yet there's all this fear and stuff about doing that, and you don't want any masculine energy, but yet I'm trying to help you. And the more you dig into your emotional body and feel these things and clear things, the more the masculine wants to protect you. So it's disempowered, but it's overprotective. And it's overprotective of a feminine that is usually pretty young. This is what I brought up this morning. So if you ask your protector, how do you relate with me? If you're a woman, how do you relate with me? He will probably say something like, oh, as a child or as a teenager. That's the father to the child, yet he's also disempowered. Do you see that? Like, if he's stuck in this protector role, that's not his true power. His true power is to empower, to enliven, to support, to guide. So I'm just naming some of the dynamics that I have felt in others and felt in myself when this issue. So that's part of the balance, actually, is to empower the masculine again. To, you know what the masculine really loves? Maybe we all love it, but the masculine loves to be honored and appreciated and gotten about all that he has held and done. Right?
Yeah.
And the masculine inside is going, yep. And then here's a masculine saying, yep. What the masculine in a woman can do, though, is criticize and judge and control. That's the matriarch, and it's never enough.
And dispense the approval very sparingly.
Yeah, and then the masculine feels inadequate, and that's not in balance either.
Yeah, it's so dynamic how these dynamics, if they're going on with an other, that means they're mirroring what's going on with an inner relationship. And to feel it here, we always tend to want to go outward and pick at our mate or pick at the relationship. There may be a boundary that needs to be set. There may be something that needs to be brought to the relationship, but that's not the place to start. Here is where the power is. Here is where you receive all the gifts that the universe is waiting to bring you in this integration of your masculine and feminine, regardless of your gender, so that there can be this sacred union dance.
It becomes less and less a polarized gender frequency at all, or less and less about masculine, feminine, and more about this beingness, this heart presence that can also do a heap of a lot.
As we were feeling that this morning, I don't think we ever quite said it this way, but we were just talking about how the polarity of masculine and feminine is quite something that we've all been challenged with, that the masculine and feminine has been polarized inside of us. It seemed, and then we were just marveling on that feeling, that it seems that the divine, which once knew complete integration of the masculine and feminine, chose to polarize it, to dualize it. And now, ever since, we've had the masculine and feminine in a duality.
Ooh, yeah.
And so even our fighting is sacred. But it was like the divine hid the masculine from the feminine and vice versa. And what became aware to me is like the universe gave us this divine game of hide and seek, that we're now drawn to the missing element, the missing partner, the missing dance. And it invites us into our power and our vulnerability, making choices. The empowered masculine needs to show up to use the sword to cut away.
Be appreciated when he does it by the feminine.
Right. And the feminine needs to shine in all of her beauty and her sacred power of draw and
I love that hide and seek game. I mean, you could apply that to parts work too, of course, but this is specifically about the masculine and feminine. So there's also a play. There's a play in all of this.
I get the picture of, as kids we used to play, and the person who was it had to go count to 50 if they're facing the tree, and then when they hit 50, say, 50, ready or not, here I come. And it's like the divine, if for me, I feel my inner feminine saying, ready or not, here I come, and wanting to show up on the arena right across the board of my life and how I'm relating to a brand new blossoming relationship with Jelelle, in new passion, purpose, alchemy, in what's happening here in our world.
I feel like the masculine says that too, by the way. Ready or not, here I come.
Yes, there's this feeling, you can tune it in, that your radar of needing a mate, an inner mateship, is being mirrored in the relationship with other. And if you're a single person and really drawn to sacred union, that beacon is beaconing out of you, and it's being beaconed into the solarium in which we all swim, and being received and picked up very unmistakably by potential heartmates that are ready to dance with you. So.
Wow. We could just keep going. This is what we do every morning, basically. This is how we talk. So we're going to go into a meditation space now, led by Raphael, to connect to these energies of masculine and feminine within and in the divine as well. Because the big piece here, as Raphael mentioned, is the initiation into these frequencies of feminine and masculine. It's also what we provide in sessions, individual sessions, and also Raphael and I work with couples. We probably work with you individually and then come together as a couple. So let's see what we can connect to in the meditation. Yeah.
What I'm feeling in the meditation, I'm feeling, as I've shared, having experienced a meaningful, ongoing connection with my inner masculine, represented in certain parts of me, as well as my inner feminine. I'm feeling those of you that are going, oh, what are you talking about? I think something really simple right now. We can go on a guided meditation to meet a feeling toned representation of your inner masculine and your inner feminine, and feeling them as two distinct parts of you. Maybe that you're meeting for the first time. Maybe this is an initial meeting and you're getting some awareness and perception, or maybe you're returning to a more established connection of knowing specific parts of you that hold those energies. So both can flow, all of those can flow here. But I want to invite you now, and thank you, Jelelle, for the opportunity to lead this meditation.
Sure, it feels like you're already doing it. That's why I closed my eyes.
And thank you to those of you willing to co-energize this with us via the recording, all gathered in this now moment. So let's close our eyes together and turn our focus inward to the garden of our sacred beauty and bounty. And we're going to go first now to meet our inner masculine. And this, of course, has no respect of your gender. It's interesting, your gender. Maybe you're going to meet the opposite gender. Maybe you're going to meet the same gender. As we journey to the masculine, let's imagine I'm seeing a very unusual forest, kind of like the California redwood forest. I'm seeing these very, very established trees, unusually tall. Let's journey to that forest. Let's park our car in the parking lot. Having seen these powerful trees in the distance, let's step out of our car now and take that trailhead and go stand in and amongst these trees. Let's invite and feel our guides, a masculine guide. I'm feeling Yeshua, who's always been a dearly beloved masculine guide. I can't help but feel Metatron at the same time, also wanting to be with us, but also holding the other polarity, our feminine guides. I'm feeling Yeshua's counterpart in Magdalene, how the form of her body and the clothing that she wears and the way that she moves through space is so beautiful. And I'm also feeling Divine Mother here, broadcasting a lot of compassion and awareness that the polarities were pulled apart and that they yearn to come back together, and that every one of us that feels this longing is feeling an ache in the divine, willing to be a part of it. Let's stand now as we're walking down this path and looking at the girth of these trees and their height, imagining their root system going so deep. Let's feel the part of us who holds our relationship to the masculine. If he has questions, if he has frustrations, he very well may have deep remorse for mistakes made. Let's allow him to breathe in this air and be in this presence of these powerful, tall standing, consciously alive beings in these redwood trees.
I wanted to say this could be your protector that you've been working with in the series. So you might see an armor or a weapon, or just have that energy of protector. Or it could be a gatekeeper, which you've also connected to. That's kind of usually a more wizard kind of energy. Or it could be someone, a male figure that you've known or know. Or something brand new.
And feel yourself in this moment as different from this male part of you. Feel yourself observing, even as Yeshua and Magdalene, Metatron and Divine Mother are here in presence, sharing and showering love into the space and witnessing what is here to be witnessed. Sacred awareness. Feel yourself as also a witness to what's going on for this masculine part of you. As you look around you to any one of the 4 guides that we've invited along, or feeling what is emanating from the very redwoods themselves, their masculine energies, feel and take in whatever messages come to this part of you. It could be in words. It could be in memories. It could be a scene of a movie. It could be a timeline in your life. It could be something that really is asking for your attention in your life right now. Feel your masculine taking in this love, opening to feeling what there is to feel in this moment. Feel the feminine also in sacred witness to the masculine's process, supporting, desiring, and even yearning. Allow for any tears that may want to come, a recognition of remorse, of gratitude at being introduced. Feel what you would say now to this awakening masculine part of you. What are the words that you would share about bridging to this part of you in the future? Let's wrap a beautiful garment of love around this sacred reunion and meeting. And let's walk back the steps that we came, knowing that we'll fully digest all that happened here today. And let's walk out back the direction we came. And another path now takes us to the very edge of the ocean. These trees have grown in proximity to the climate afforded by the presence of the ocean. And there's a beautiful expanse looking out over the ocean that we can see in the distance. Let's take this digestion with us now and feel this approaching open space and a beautiful horizon of water, and see what was in the forest, what was quite held by trees all around, is now in contrast held by open space, and feel this as the open sky of the feminine and the energies of the feminine. Let's look to Magdalene as she lights up as we take these steps. And the presence of Divine Mother so watering us as we walk towards this feminine energy and take a seat in this open meadow with this very private space all around. Taking your gaze now from the ocean and transferring that to the inner feminine. Invite the part of you who holds the feminine into your awareness. Invite them to open their awareness to Yeshua's strong masculine energy, to the wisdom and power and guidance of Metatron and his masculine energy, Divine Mother's support, Magdalene's beauty. What does your feminine look like to you in this moment? What form does she come to you in? Is she playful? Is she in need? Feel yourself as different from her, observing her, giving her the gift of your awareness and your desire to build relationship. Feel her as she tunes in whatever sacred guidance and messages would come to her from this setting and the guides present. Feel her yearning for deeper initiation into her own feminine. Feel her desire to dance with the masculine, with the open heart of the masculine and the immense power of the masculine. If your feminine is feeling very suppressed, you're invited to feel that. Bring your awareness to whatever state your own inner feminine is in, trusting that just feeling your open heart is the medicine that's needed. Again, note any messages of words, pictures, memories, settings. Trust what comes to you is important to be felt, and that there are these signposts or things that you can take into your heart space, back into your life to digest and feel.
As Raphael said, your feminine may be in more shadow, or maybe even hidden away somewhere. You might even connect with your masculine to ask him where she is, because he might know if he's hidden her somewhere to protect her, or that kind of thing.
Feel the age of your feminine as well. Could be a very young girl. Could be very much be a teenage girl who came so far into the feminine and paused, waiting for this moment when you could meet her and take her to the next places. share with your feminine what's in your heart going forward. What invitation, what desire you have for them and for your relationship with them. Let's trust that what you've received in this space is exactly what was ready and the timing was perfect for, and that you're being given the grace to hold and digest going forward. Let's take this back into the sacred place of your life as you know it now, as it is unfolding, and trust that that's the incubator for this integration of your masculine and your feminine coming together inside of you as we retrace our steps away from the ocean now, away from this beautiful vista, and taking this presence of heart back into our lives, and let it alchemize into our heart and our circumstances. New choices, new desires, and new tenderness.
You can go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
I take that in more when I'm not also holding space. So it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It could be that was a beginning connection or just a deepening. But my sense is you probably had something new of discovery happen there.
It's amazing to feel how the feminine is right there. You don't need to go on a 13-year journey in a Tibetan cave to discover your inner feminine. It's right there waiting
or
for
masculine.
you. Yeah. So,
thank you for joining me.
thank you for having me in more ways than one.
Yeah. And Raphael will be back, I think, a few times more in the series. So I will be here tomorrow, and I will see you then. Bye.
Bye.